Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking a really hard, honest look at exactly how we're using our time. And more importantly, how we are going to completely reframe our discipline and focus for the year 2026. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of the mind, the true nature of distraction, and those quiet, daily habits that literally build a life of purpose and financial freedom. Let's get right to it. So let me ask you a question that might hit just a little bit close to home. How many times have you sat down to work, promising yourself, okay, this time I'm going to be focused, only to find yourself mindlessly scrolling on your phone literally 5 minutes later? You know the drill, right? You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow ends up looking exactly the same. Well, here is the absolute truth. You aren't lacking discipline, and you definitely aren't lazy. It's just that your brain has been trained to be totally addicted to overstimulation. Your focus muscle isn't broken, guys. It's just completely untrained. Which brings us to section 1, the myth of motivation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast between two completely different mindsets. On the left, we've got motivation. Look, motivation feels amazing. When you have it, everything just feels easy. But it's entirely unreliable. It's just an emotion. Some days you're going to wake up feeling super tired, distracted, or, just plain lazy. If you rely on motivation alone, your actions are totally dependent on your mood. But over on the right, we have systems. Strong individuals don't just sit around waiting for the right mood to strike. They build daily, structured routines and absolute non-negotiable habits. Success stops depending on how you feel and starts depending entirely on consistency. And that brings us to a really harsh but absolutely necessary reality. Comfort is the training ground where weakness is built. Our brains naturally love soft beds, easy entertainment, and instant gratification. I mean, who doesn't, right? But when comfort becomes your default lifestyle, your tolerance for difficulty just disappears. You get less patient, tiny challenges suddenly feel completely overwhelming. We really have to remember that discomfort is not the enemy here. Every single time you choose the harder option, like pulling yourself out of bed early when you really want to sleep in, or pushing through a tough task when you're exhausted, you're actively building strength. All right, moving on to section 2, escaping the dopamine trap. So right now, your brain is likely totally overstimulated by constant notifications and these incredibly quick rewards, which makes normal, everyday work feel incredibly boring. To fix this, we implement the full dopamine detox protocol. Step 1, identify your leaks. That endless doom scrolling, the junk food, the constant checking of messages, find them. Step 2 is a 24-hour reset. You basically cut off all unnecessary stimulation just to let your brain calm down. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Step 3, you've got to replace those bad habits with simple, healthy actions. Think reading or taking a walk. Don't just remove the bad habit or your brain is going to panic. And finally, step 4 is to delay, not deny. You don't have to say, I'm never using social media ever again. Instead, just say, I'll use it, but only after my deep work is totally done. Next up, section 3. Building systems over willpower. Here's the thing. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your environment. If your phone is sitting right next to you on the desk, you are gonna pick it up. And that's not a lack of discipline, that is simply friction working against you. To make discipline automatic, you absolutely must design your environment to remove that friction. So leave your phone in completely another room before you go to sleep. Close all those unnecessary browser tabs before you even start working. Lay out your clothes the night before to totally avoid decision fatigue in the morning. And seriously, just clean one small area of your desk. Creating a clear physical space instantly creates a clearer, calmer mind. And this brilliantly illustrates how we can actually apply these systems to our daily schedule using the 3-1-1 time management system. A massive, never-ending to-do list? That just creates total overwhelm. Instead, try limiting yourself to exactly 3 high-value tasks, the ones that actually move your life forward. Then add one growth task, like reading or learning a new skill, to invest in your future self. And finally, just one maintenance task, like doing the laundry or sorting through emails, to support your daily life. It's clean, it's super realistic, and it practically guarantees real progress every single day. Let's shift gears to section 4. The power of microhabits. The Japanese have practiced this amazing philosophy for centuries that captures this idea perfectly. It's called Kaizen. It's simply the habit of improving just one tiny thing every single day. You see, when a goal is huge, your brain naturally fights it. It creates a ton of mental friction. But if your goal is literally to just do one single push-up or read just one single page, your mind doesn't resist. You slip right past that mental friction. You build a new identity, you build momentum, and eventually that one single page naturally turns into reading a whole chapter. And speaking of totally bypassing the brain's resistance, here is a golden rule you can start using today: the 5-minute rule. Whenever you feel resistance to doing a task, just tell yourself you're only going to do it for 5 minutes. That's it. No pressure at all. The absolute hardest part of any task is just starting it. But once you trick your brain into beginning, that momentum builds and you shift right from resistance into a flow state. I promise you almost never stop at just 5 minutes. Let's look at some rapid-fire micro-habits that you can implement literally tomorrow morning to completely rewire your momentum. Drink a glass of water the absolute second you wake up to clear out that brain fog. Get 5 to 10 minutes of morning sunlight to biologically reset your internal clock. Read just one page of a book. Write just one honest sentence to build some self-awareness. And, crucially, tackle your hardest task first when your energy is completely fresh. These take almost zero time, but they compound massively over the course of a year. Which perfectly sets up Section 5, Compounding Time and Wealth. Take a look at how the world is divided here. The vast majority of people spend their entire lives on the left side, passively consuming. They scroll endlessly, they just react to other people's priorities, and they spend their money on things that rapidly lose value. But the few who actually build real wealth and long-term success, they live over on the right. They are active creators. They build projects, they respond with intention, and they actively invest their time and their money. Listen, if you shift just 1 hour a day from consuming to creating, you will completely change your trajectory. So the crucial point is that you have to apply this exact same mindset to your money, and you have to do it systematically. Wealth isn't actually built by what you earn. It is built by what you keep. You absolutely must pay yourself first. Before the bills, before the online shopping, move a percentage of your money straight into savings or investments. And critically, you have to automate it. If you're depending on your own willpower to invest, your emotions are going to get in the way and you just won't do it. Make it automatic and let that wealth building habit run silently in the background. We all know someone who constantly talks about their big plans, right? The business they're going to start, the amazing habits they are definitely going to build, but then months later, literally nothing has changed. Weakness loves the idea of success, but it avoids the boring daily work required to get there. Real progress is quiet. It is all about execution. We need to stop announcing our goals and start quietly doing the daily work. Always remember, quiet execution will always beat loud intention, every single time. We are speeding toward the future, and time simply isn't slowing down for anyone. So I want to leave you with one direct, slightly provocative challenge. If nothing changes from this moment forward, if you keep the exact same routines, the same daily distractions, the same comfortable excuses, are you going to be proud of where you are at the end of 2026? Or are you going to take these systems, face the discomfort of real growth, and completely shift your identity? The choice and the time is completely yours.